let's look at job satisfaction, which is an attitude that specifically measures how satisfying a job is. Now notice that this is one of the job attitudes or the work-related attitudes that we've been studying. And so for one person, so if there's two people that have the exact same job, one person might have a greater level of job satisfaction, a more positive attitude towards the job than another person who might have a lower level of job satisfaction. We're measuring a person's attitude towards the job, not how innately satisfying the job is, but how an individual responds to the job, what their attitude is towards the job. Now, job satisfaction is really important because dissatisfaction, the opposite of job satisfaction, low satisfaction, has historically led to worker unrest. And that's like having workers go on strike or burn the building down is usually one of the last things you want to have happen in your organization. In a less dramatic way, low job satisfaction is associated with absenteeism and attrition. If people just don't like the job, they're going to find reasons not to come to work, and they're going to look for better jobs. They're just going to try to get out if they can. Some people won't be able to, but workers are more likely to leave a job when they have low job satisfaction. And from a Christian perspective, which is important for me because I personally want to follow Jesus Christ in everything that I do, promoting the well-being and the satisfaction and the happiness of others is part of loving them. And Jesus calls us to love other peoples, to love our neighbors as ourselves. So we need to do everything we can to make jobs as satisfying as we can for the people for whom we are responsible. Now let's talk about two different ways of measuring job satisfaction. The first approach to measuring job satisfaction is we're going to measure what's known as multiple facets of job satisfaction. A facet is a word from precious stones like a diamond. Each side is called a facet. It reflects something a little bit differently. And so in this multiple facets measure of job satisfaction, or approach to measuring job satisfaction, we ask questions about various aspects of a job. We ask about how satisfied are you with the pay? How about the work conditions? Is it too hot, too cold, or is there too much pressure on you? Benefits. We ask about the supervision. We ask about the how enjoyable the work itself is. We measure all kinds of different facets, and then we can kind of compare. And this type of measure of job satisfaction is good for figuring out what needs to be improved. So if everybody says, oh yeah, the job is really great, except the work conditions, we're all really crowded in this one small room that's too hot. Well, that shows you what you need to improve. So that's one approach. And here's an example of a multifaceted measure of job satisfaction. It's called the Job Descriptive Index, sometimes called the JDI, developed at Bowling Green State University. And it has a bunch of different sections. It has, first of all, it asks you about the work that you do, the work on the present job, asks you items about the pay, the opportunities for promotion, supervision, and then it continues and asks questions about a lot of different items. And you can get a score for each item. And you can find out who's the most satisfied in your organization, what are people most satisfied with, what are they least satisfied with. And so that's a multiple facets measure of job satisfaction. Now, a second approach to measuring job satisfaction is measuring overall job satisfaction. And that we use items to measure, to indicate a global evaluation of the job as a whole. And humans are really good at giving this global evaluation. Do you like your job? People can answer that question. Are you satisfied with your job? Yeah. No. Kind of in between. People can answer those kind of questions real easily, and their attitude doesn't change too much throughout the day or one week from another. And this global measure of job satisfaction is good for predicting employee well-being in life. It's positively correlated with their satisfaction in life and their attrition likelihood. It's negatively correlated. The more satisfied they are, the less likely they are to quit the job. So here's an example. There's different ways of measuring overall job satisfaction. Some instrument means a set of items, a set of questions that we use to measure job satisfaction. One simple one is a face scale. Here we've got a scale of 1 to 6 with faces ranging from very happy to very sad to very happy, and you ask people, how do you feel about your job on this 1 to 6 scale? And everybody can do that. Now some people might not think this is really accurate because they might not be sad, they might be really angry, but they'll still probably give a low score for that. So a face scale is a super simple way of measuring overall job satisfaction. There can also be single item measures that work fairly well and are useful if you need to have a really small, really short survey. You can just ask people, to what degree do you agree with the statement, I love my job? Ranging from strongly disagree, disagree, neither agree nor disagree, agree, or strongly agree. And they'll let you know how much they love their job. Now, a measure that's used quite often is the 5-item index of job satisfaction. And it's 5 items, and we have items. The first item is I feel fairly satisfied with my present job. So if they strongly agree, that's pretty positive. If they strongly disagree, that's negative. Most days I'm enthusiastic about my work. Again, 1 to 5, strongly disagree to strongly agree. Now 3 says each day of work seems like it'll never end. So that's the opposite. If you have job satisfaction, you'll strongly disagree with that. Oh no, my days are great, so I'd strongly disagree. That item is known as reverse scored. 1 and 2 strongly agree. 5 means that you have a high job satisfaction. 3, if you have high job satisfaction, you'll have a low score. So to compare it with the others, you need to change the 1s to 5s, the 2s to 4s, the 4s to 2s, and the 5s to 1s. Basically, you take the high score and low score, 5 plus 1, which is 6, and then subtract the reverse scored from it, and you get the unreverse scored. So if you put each day of work seems like it'll never end, and I don't agree with that, 2, to get the unreverse scored, you would do 6 minus 2, that would come out to a 4. Then you have 4, I find real enjoyment in my work. That's not reverse scored. I consider my job rather unpleasant. That is reverse scored. So to get a score from these 5 items, first thing you have to do is you have to unreverse items 3 and 5, take the reverse scored and subtract them from 6, and then you average the scores for those 5 items now, that the 2 are unreversed, and you'll get a number between 1 and 5 that is a measure of their job satisfaction. Now in this last slide, I've given you some references in case you ever need them if you want to use this measure of job satisfaction for a study. So this has been an introduction to job satisfaction, which is one of the 2 most common organizational work attitudes that exist. And as we said previously, job satisfaction is one and organizational commitment is the other.